Howdy, happy here with a player submitted replay. Velakos, one of my fellow clanmates, wanted me to look at this video. He said I had a pretty good battle in it, and he wanted me to kind of critique and talk about it. This is actually a pretty good, or Baltimore, I'm sorry, Baltimore. I got excited with the Des Moines for a minute there. I didn't really have fun with the Baltimore. I think the Baltimore was disappointing to me, so it was really hard to have good games. But as tier 8s go now, she is a beast at tier 8. This is a pretty favorable matchup, obviously, tier 8 fight. I don't know why the system does this. Like these like the whole team is in a line over here, and then let's just throw these randoms in over here to see what happens. But that seems to happen quite a bit. So the first thing that I will mention on this, and I don't know if this is because he doesn't run premium or doesn't have too many premium ships, is not anything that I knock anybody with, but he's using regular consumables. That to me sucks just because of the time frame, the cooldown of them. But those can get expensive. Constantly using them over and over and over. I think it's 22 and a half, right? 20,500 per. So it breaks down to what, 67.5 ish thousand added to your repair cost on this bad boy, which is pretty high considering you're starting to get up in the higher tiers. But that's just me. I switched them over to the credit expense, and I use the premiums always. But I also have a premium account and run a lot of premiums, so that's just me. But just my suggestion. So I'll tell you, in this matchup, V does very good on this flank by himself, pretty much. Hapa's rule number 1 simply states that if a team lemmings, which is what you're seeing over here, right? They're all heading basically in a straight line, right? Into the east side. Hapa's rule number 1 states don't be the guy alone on one flank. And even though you got 2 destroyers in Edinburgh, I count this as alone pretty much. I just don't like it. However, the Baltimore, who used to be tier 9, they moved her to tier 8, and her armor now at tier 8 is kind of boss. And you're gonna see some shots taken at V here that the ship takes damage, but kind of just shrugs it off and goes to town. So all kinds of torps being fired out here. Obviously, there's a destroyer and a Miyoko, right? So V is backing up the 2 destroyers that are actually chasing the Z-23. This is kind of funny if you, to me. You've got a battleship only attacking destroyer and a kid going after a Z-23, which is like an anti-destroyer, but whatever.
Torpedoes, direct front.
Edinburgh parks up as Edinburghs do. V's gonna push in here, try to support. The other thing I was going to mention in this video is your mini-maps is your lifeline, right? One of the things you could do is this little gear up here. If you click on it, and it'll let me do it while we're in the replay, I would turn on Surveillance Radar, so you see that orbit, and I would probably turn on AA firing range on there. I know you can memorize those after a while, it's not a big deal, but the Surveillance Radar circle on the mini-map is kind of important, and you'll see why later. I'll bring it up and show you. So this was a good move. V coming to the left. That was actually really smart because the destroyers are heading out to go north and away. But you know that Z-23 is over here somewhere, so V's going to come over here to try to find him. That Miyoko just straight up ran, which I find amusing because Miyoko's at range, which is I think what he's doing here. He's engaging at range. I'm assuming that's the fire from the Miyoko. 2 more sets of torps, right? This actually worked out in V's favor. He's going to go surprise sex this destroyer. He's not lit, right? So you know he's just parked right over there on the other side of the island. One thing I do a lot, if you watch my replays while I'm live playing, is I play zoomed out like this, in this view. I hold my right mouse button and I'll be looking around a lot. Keep the guns locked to where I want them so I can look around still. Um, and when I'm engaging, I'll zoom in, but after every salvo, I'll click the right mouse button once to zoom out, kind of get some situational awareness, and then zoom back in. I do that pretty regularly. That's why you probably hear me complain a lot more about the zooming in bug, where basically the game zooms max all the way out as far as it can, even though I may have a target closer that's locked on. I notice it a lot more because I do that a lot more. So that Z-23 wasn't spotted on this flank, so I'm pretty sure V realized he's kind of out here alone and afraid, so he's going to move back toward the group. Now, I talked about lemming training, how the team kind of did that, but in the end, the team actually split up pretty good, middle and right. So V's trying to get back. This is what I'm talking about right here. The Atlanta, right? Amazing rate of fire. He's not shooting his guns. The moment that V was lit, that Atlanta should have started opening up on him, and he screwed up, seriously. Because now, V is just going to punish this Atlanta. Good use of the rudder here. I would keep shifting constantly. Especially when you have cruisers firing at you. Double Citadel there. That Atlanta's not going to last much longer. There's the Z-23 that we were trying to find. As soon as he's dead, V shifts fire.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
He's actually got 4 fires going right now. Miyoko Broad lends to only one thing. And you know that Miyoko launched torps probably, right? So 4 bounces on a Miyoko, that kills me. I get it, he's angled away, but good lord. There you go, there's a Citadel. I'm pretty much ignoring the other side of the map, the battle going on over there, because a lot of the action here with V is pretty good. And that Miyoko has got to realize that he's in a bad spot. He's in brown alert right now because he ran aground to try to get those torps off, as Japanese cruiser drivers do, and he paid the price. Three Citadels at last salvo. So now you got a Nagato, okay? Some people would have slowed down and probably waited for the Nagato to come around. That's a big mistake. The Nagato would just one-shot V. So V's gonna pull back a little here. The Nuremberg's is coming over to help him. Unfortunately, it's a Nuremberg versus a Nagato at close range. Not so good. And the Nagato's not stupid. Okay, the Nagato's like, I got a Balti over here with some crazy AP. So he starts angling away a little bit. Also, you know that Nuremberg's going to do what cruiser drivers with torpedo launchers typically do. At the angle that he's at, the Nuremberg and the Nagato, I probably would have been firing AP. German AP is pretty damn good. He probably would have been doing some good damage on that Nagato. Now, unfortunately, because he's pushing that Nagato so hard, the Nagato is pulling away, which is keeping the island between V and him. So V's having to try to get angle. But he is pushing so close to the Nagato that pretty much the inevitable is about to happen. V's pedaling as fast as he can go. And there's the Nuremberg down. V switches to HE real quick. Now, the nice thing about this was the Nagato's guns were the other way, right? So V starts kiting away, which is really important here. You don't want to get too close to a Nagato. When you're close enough that your secondaries on the cruiser are opening up, that's close. Fortunately, those aft turrets got around on them. Get those fires started. Start burning. Gotta love those HE chunk damage. So Nagato's burning pretty good here. D's got multiple fires. I think that was 3 that he repped. Pay attention to when you're versus like this. You got to pay attention to what turrets have fired when. If you're able to get your bow round and engage within a 20-second window, I say 20 seconds. I know that's not the reload of Nagato, but that's a pretty safe number. You typically will do good just continuously firing. Get around the island's actually really smart. He started another fire. He's just going to let that burn and try to cover the cap. So our force over here on the east, they're still not that far in. You've got an Amagi, and Nelson, and Atlanta that could probably be pushing up. This Edinburgh, unfortunately, came all the way over from the west flank to try to save the cap. V burns down the Nagato, gets an arsonist out of it. Nice. Very nice. So over here you got an Akatsuki and a Prince Eugen. I think that's how you say it. How do you say Eugen? I think that's how the Brits say it. I don't think that's proper though. And unfortunately, the Prince just eats that Edinburgh. So this is the one critique I'll tell you, V. I was not happy when you hit your radar just now. This is why I bring up this right here. Radar surveillance circle. Okay, if you had this on, you would have seen that Akizuki was not in your radar range. The Hydro is what I would have popped first. I would have pushed in until this icon was at least at the edge of your radar and then hit your radar, because basically what happens now is your radar's over and I think you just now got that Akizuki in range. So unfortunately you kind of wasted your radar there. That's why this circle is important. You really got to pay attention to how close you are. Because now, I mean, it's an Akatsuki, he's not going to do a whole lot of damage to you with the guns, and you're going to eat him. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? He's panicking, you could tell by the aim, or lack thereof. Which, I don't know why he parked there. That was kind of dumb of him, but whatever. And V's going to end it. All in all, fantastic game, man. You can't really ask for much better. Great job, V.